Hey guys, welcome to another video on my channel. Today, I want to create an asset for you guys. Here are 10 crucial questions you should be asking yourself before committing to a personal branding campaign. Now, I wanted to make this video because I've worked with so many brands and my team is so experienced at this point. We've worked with so many different entrepreneurs, so many different personal brands that we know what to look out for before somebody commits thousands of dollars onto their personal branding campaign, but only if done strategically. This is where your plan comes in place. Once you have that plan, you want to watch this video. If you don't have a plan yet, hit me up on Instagram at I'm Super Sandy. I'll make sure to set that up for you. These questions are organized in chronological order, so make sure to stick to the end of the video to get the top 3 questions you should be asking yourself. First question is, what value do I bring to the table as a leader, and how can I communicate that effectively? This is an important question to ask yourself because ideally this is how you understand what your first campaign will be about. What do I need to communicate to these people over the next 8 weeks? What should they be saying about my brand over the next 8 weeks after they've consumed all this content we're about to spend so much money and so much energy creating? If you're not sure what you're communicating, how do you know that it's working? When it comes to how much money you can spend on a video editor, how much you can spend on all these assets, the number is infinite. So you need to have a clear-cut understanding as to what you're going after because you're the leader. If you're investing resources into things that do not resonate with what your strengths are and do not resonate with what you bring to the table, then you're wasting time and you're confusing your audience. Let's say you were committing some money to growth on social media for the next 8 weeks. If you communicated your strengths, you would then be able to sell the best products that you offer. Now you know, okay, well, if I'm communicating the strengths of my product should be gaining some kind of traffic. I should be generating some kind of leads. Instead of generating leads for products you probably don't even offer, you can stay focused on what your strengths are and stay focused on how you bring value to your audience. That way, your audience can go from just being a fan and a viewer to being a lead, to being a client, to being a testimonial. Question number 2. Who is my target audience and what are their needs and expectations? Once you understand what you're going after, you need to then ask yourself, okay, well, if I'm going to be selling and I want people to understand that I am the go-to bagel spot, for example, you need to then ask yourself, okay, well, what are those people in that area looking for out of a bagel shop? Once you understand what you want, you can then ask yourself, well, what do those people in that area want? Who am I targeting? What do they want? Once you understand who you're targeting and what kind of area you want to dominate, you can then start asking yourself questions from that person's perspective. I want to be a real estate agent in this area. This person in this area is asking these type of questions because they're probably somebody that has children. Those kind of questions can really help you understand, okay, who am I going after and what do they want? What do they need in order to consider me a performing person that they want to do business with? You don't want to confuse your creative process. When you're working with videographers, when you're working with many different elements and you're trying to create something, you have to be very clear on what it is that you want. So asking yourself, well, what does my audience want and what do they need? That helps you save money on not hiring the wrong creatives and not spending money on creative that does not align with your final target audience. If your final target audience is feminine, you should not be testing with masculine fonts, for example. Number 3 is, what are some key messages I want to communicate from my personal brand? This is so important, especially now in our day and age, because followers are so mature. We no longer have people that are just bought into the credibility of your business just from seeing your ad. They need a little bit more. They need to see you active on social media. They need to see you as a multi-dimensional brand. You got to have things you stand for and things you don't stand for. This is especially going to help you if you're running an ad. This is going to drive a lot of traffic to your brand. If your brand is consistently putting out clear educational content, these key messages will really put a lot of traffic onto your page, whether this be through an ad or just posting it organically. Knowing this answer before you start your personal branding campaign can help you save money because you won't be sending mixed signals to your audience. Your key messages, okay, what are the key strong points of this brand? What are the key strong points of this product? What am I going to experience from hanging out with you? It needs to be clear. Am I going to be motivated or am I not going to be motivated? When you put out a clear message of who you are and what your brand stands for, your audience can cling on to that message a lot easier. Yes, we want to definitely put out value, but we also want money to come back in. So make sure that you're being clear. So number 4, how can I differentiate myself from others in my field and create a memorable, more impactful personal brand? When putting out content, it's very beneficial to understand that you have competition. You have competition from people in your industry putting out content, but you also have competition from all that other noise, all that entertaining content. Be more competitive in the way you design your product and the way you design your message. You can also study other creators in your field. That process right there can save you so much time in terms of creativity. Well, what do I try? You don't need to reinvent the wheel, just go study what other people are doing. It's better to know what you want your branding to look like, so that way you don't have this person waste energy and waste time, waste your money designing things that you already know you do not like. You save money for yourself because you're no longer implementing time and money into the wrong direction. You can educate yourself on the space first by looking at your competitors. How do you differentiate yourself? But how do you also avoid what they did that really wasted them a lot of money or a lot of energy? Study your competitors. It'll help you internally with your own team, but it'll also help you avoid a lot of their pitfalls, avoid a lot of what other people have already done wrong. Number 5, how can I build a strong personal network and leverage it to grow my brand? If you are going to dedicate all this energy into this personal branding campaign, you're gonna hire all these creatives, you're gonna spend time looking at these analytics, you're gonna spend time trying to grow. Ask yourself, are my connections improving from this process? You not only need followers, but you also need collaborators. You need to be able to collaborate with other people in your space, whether this is a podcast opportunity or you're collaborating on a brand deal, right? You need to ask yourself, is this brand impressing my peers as well? Am I getting more connections from this personal content? If your content is impressing your peers and people you can collaborate with, let's say they have a higher following and now they're helping your content perform because they're in your content or they're sharing your content or they're sending your audience to check out you. Now, by you impressing your peers, you now have free attention that you've now earned because you've asked yourself this question. Is my personal branding campaign going to be impressive to my peers? Is it going to attract a following? Is it going to need a little bit more time? So now I need to leverage my peers? Possibly. If you ask yourself this question, you already now have that covered because your content might do well, but if it doesn't, now you have that covered. Okay, well, at least I'm impressing my peers and I'm making a good connection amongst collaborators. Can I go over here, do a collab and maybe boost my content? How can I use digital media to enhance my personal brand and reach a wider audience? When you're going to commit to a personal branding campaign, are you educated in the space? Do you know the technology? Do you know the best posting times on this platform versus this platform? Do you know the simple tweaks that could garner you way more results onto multiple platforms than if you just focused on this one platform? So these questions are good for zooming out a little bit because there are simple tweaks that can really help you go the distance. For example, let's say you're trying to grow a personal brand and you're a writer. Writing content is great, but what if you read that content out loud in front of video? Now you can have a vertical video. If you post this vertical video onto 4 platforms, the same exact asset, you post it onto Instagram, you post it onto LinkedIn, you post it onto TikTok, and you post it onto YouTube Shorts. The same asset is now on 4 algorithms, getting you 4 times the reach. And each algorithm might get a different result. So now you're also lowering the liability. It's important to zoom out a little bit. Is my strategy the best strategy? If you're not sure if your strategy is the best strategy, I suggest filling out my consulting application because this can be an hour of work that can save you thousands and thousands of dollars and also save relationships. I've seen so many entrepreneurs ruin relationships with creatives just because they went into a relationship and a project with a creative not knowing what they wanted, and then they ended up just frustrating each other for no reason because there wasn't enough clarity. Investing in an hour of, hey, is my strategy effective? Is my strategy up to date? Are there a couple of tweaks on my strategy that I could adjust to maybe go even further than what I thought was possible? Yes, 100%. But you got to be able to ask these certain questions and step up to the plate when those tools are provided. If you want a little bit more information, I suggest hitting the link in my bio. We can talk more about that. How this saves you money? Well, you can get more for the time and the energy that you put into your process. If you're putting in $800 over the next 8 weeks, you're putting in $8,000 over the next 8 weeks. Maybe this question, this specific question of, well, can we tweak this, might get you 10,000 more views or 10,000 more clicks that then lead to however many X more leads and conversions. How can I measure the success of my personal brand and make necessary improvements? A lot of people go into social media understanding that it's important, and then 8 weeks into the process, working with the videographer they hired, they're frustrated with the videographer and they're like, hey, why isn't it working? it's your fault. What's going on? Understanding what you're aiming for can help you measure the success of your campaign. It can also help you measure the value of the relationship you're about to invest into. If you're going to hire all these different people, are they clear on what it is, what you measure as success? So understanding what that success looks like and understanding whether or not you can make improvements as your campaign is continuing is very important, because what you don't want to do is be one of those clients where, oh man, all this was a waste, all my money, I spent it for no reason, because that's not true. If you understood that your success looked like 10 loyal followers, if that's what success looks like, you know what to aim for. If you don't know what success looks like when things aren't working, aka this thing is not making you money or giving you results, you're probably going to cut back on it, when at the end of the day, your personal brand is like the most undervalued asset right now. And I think the industry is about to show the true value of a personal brand. This can help you save money because you won't give up on your campaign when you think it's not working. Just because you think it's not working doesn't mean that there's not value in this program. We just have to be clear on what you need as a customer in order to continue this campaign for as long as possible, because investing in your personal brand is a necessary must. Number 8, what are my unique strengths and weaknesses as a leader? How can I leverage them to scale my personal brand? You can leverage your weaknesses. Leverage your weaknesses. We've spoken about, okay, well, what are my strengths? What are my key messages? Well, what about your weaknesses? When you're out with a friend or somebody they're trying to make a close relationship to, yeah, it's fun to talk about wins, but the things that we really carry are those, wow, that was a deep experience. I felt that from that person. So don't be afraid to open up, talk about your weaknesses, let people understand that you're just like them. These can be pieces of content that, again, garner a lot of traffic to your page. This is probably the piece of content that pushes your leads over the edge. When they're thinking about whether or not they should do business with this person and they see you be relatable, they see you be personable, they see you talk about your kids, they see you talk about your fuck ups, that's huge. They're gonna be like, wow, I really trust this person. When you take on the values of leadership, it really resonates with people, and then they really trust you to do whatever it is that they want to do with you, whether that be a business transaction or just an energy transaction. And they will either watch your content and give you that watch time so that you can scale as an influencer, or they'll provide you that cash flow because they want to do business with you, because now they trust you. You've developed that relationship. How can I stay up to date with industry trends and continue to grow as a leader? You can't stay up to date with the trends. So YouTube Shorts is generating 50 billion views on a daily basis. That's YouTube Shorts alone. If you think about all the creative interactions that are creating new trends on just that 50 billion views alone, and then try to keep up with TikTok and Instagram, and you can't stay up to date. It's just not possible. Can you be a leader in the space and create trends? Instead of following trends, can you set trends? Can you create trends? Yes, you can, but you gotta have that mindset. You gotta have that abundant mindset. You have to constantly ask yourself, what am I not doing here? What do I not see? What am I not trying? Continue to grow as a leader on social media, on your brand. Recognize that this is your journey, this is your domain. If you can just continue to pay the bill, and continue to show up online, that reputation that you garner, those few followers at a time, when you build those relationships, they add up. This is what's so fun about social media, is that this is an asset you can continue to add value to and can continue to grow. The way that you stay up to date and stay competitive is to continue to show up. And you can only continue to show up if you push yourself in every other pillar we covered before. It's just clarity. You understand that in order to stay alive in this field, you need to be competitive. You need to be prepared to keep your baby alive. And your baby is this process. It also helps you clearly have a conversation with yourself before you commit to this campaign. And you know, okay, I understand this is going to be challenging. I need to show up and be the best I can be for this team. And lastly, what actions can I take to build trust and credibility with my audience? Once you have everything else, you have the key messages, you have the plans, you have the clear understood pillars of what it takes to run a creative team consistently, you can then ask yourself, okay, now that I've got everything else covered, well, what's actually gonna be in the content? The number one thing we gotta remember here is that you're the professional. If you ran a business before, you understand that building trust is just spending time with people. If you're posting consistently, let's say you get to the point where you're posting daily, that trust will just be there because they're seeing you every day and you'll develop that trust. How do you develop credibility? This one is a little bit harder. Either you put a lot of energy into the creative and you are spending a lot of time video editing, or you spend a little bit more money on the production side. If you're watching content online and you can tell that it's high quality and you can tell that this person is spending money on their content, now all of a sudden you're like, whoa, my attention will be better taken care of because there are resources and there's finances flowing around. This content is higher quality, the creative is higher quality, then therefore you can just sit back and be yourself. Now, if you don't have the finances to invest in a team, well, what do? Can you still develop that trust and that credibility? For sure, 100%. That's where strategy comes in. You have to figure out how can you strategically be consistent. And then number two, how can you clearly communicate your strengths over video? If your audience resonates with the message through the way you design and the way you edit the video, you just do it over time and you'll see the results. 8 weeks out, you'll be like, I've been hopping on calls from people that met me on social media. And by the time I hop on these calls with these people, they're like nervous. They already know about me. If that's what you want, you can do that by having a no budget content strategy, but it's a lot easier when you have the finances. If you focus on trust and credibility, you know that money will come back from all this audience and attention that you're garnering, because now they're like, wait a second, I think this person can actually help me save money, save time. If I invest in their service or product, let me go ahead and do that. We've gone ahead and created a worksheet for these 10 questions so you guys can download it, fill it out, and have all that information in one page. Asking these questions can help you save, like, no joke, like $10,000. I literally believe that. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Let us know how it goes. Share your experience on social media and tag us. If you have any more questions around this field, make sure to follow me on social media. I go live 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can tune in on those lives, ask me questions live one-on-one. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comments section. If you want to follow, make sure you subscribe. And if you don't want to miss any content that can save you or your team money, make sure to hit that post notification bell. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Peace. Peace.